people, their lives are changing. We're flying high, creating a complaint-free world. No more, no more complaining. People, their lives are changing. We're flying high, creating a complaint-free world. No more, no more.
But what I want to share with you is that something that has really hit me is that if you walk around and ask most people, do you have unfulfilled dreams? Are there things that you wish you would accomplish or could accomplish? Is there something that you would like to change about the world? Is there something you would like to change about yourself? Is there something that you would like to see different in your world? It could be with yourself. It could be with a child. It could be with your job, whatever it is. Is there something you would like to see different? And I want to talk with you about this idea of intentions. As I was sitting in line yesterday, waiting to get my second vaccination, approximately 1 month and 1 year after the big shutdown, I remember going into the shutdown and I remember thinking to myself, wow, what is this going to be like? We all did. What is the economy going to do? Is anyone I know going to get sick or die? Are we going to learn that this is more or less transmissible? And at that time, we had no hope whatsoever of a vaccine. Well, I take that back. We had eternal hope for a vaccine. And in fact, that's my point. We had knowledge that there was going to be a vaccine, even though there had not been one. Why? Because human beings have figured out how to do almost everything. And the things that we really, really put our minds to, we absolutely, ultimately figure it out. Now, the one thing that drives it is what? What is the mother of all invention? You know it. Necessity. And when there is a pandemic that is spreading like a wildfire on our planet, and it is taking people out, people that are young, people that are predominantly old, and it is a strain on our healthcare system, human beings figure out a way to do it. I think that at our core, we all knew a year or so ago that we would come up with a vaccine. Why? Because we always have in the past. I remember hearing a comedian say, I wonder what it was like to be at NASA when John F. Kennedy said, we are going to put a man on the moon and return him safely. And it was like the two people at NASA were saying, we haven't even taught a monkey to ride a bicycle yet. He wants us to do that. You know what? We figure it out. That is what people do. And within reason, we figure almost everything out if we have enough time. So I want to bring this back to my question today, and that is intention. You know, the word intention has gotten so watered down. The word intention has almost become, or intend rather, has almost become synonymous with the word try. Wayne Dyer talks about the idea of try to pick up this coffee mug. He actually says a pen, but he says, try to pick it up. The person picks it up. He goes, no, don't pick it up. I want you to try to pick it up. The person like this. So intend has almost been synonymous with try. I'll try. I will try. When we set an intention, we need to give ourselves a why. That's the thing. And I'm not the first one to say this. I'm probably the last one to say this. So many people have said this prior to me. And that is, if you've got a big enough why you want to do something, you'll figure out how, and you will get it done. The thing is, we so often just write it off and say, I'll get to it when I get to it. Or we say it's important and we intend to do it someday. That has been my struggle, I'll be honest with you. I've got a number of things on my list, places I want to travel, things I want to accomplish, and I intend to do it someday. There are a couple of things I want to warn you about, though. When you begin to take a look at the things that you intend to do, that you have not done to the degree that you would like to do them, you tend to overwhelm yourself. I know I do. well, I didn't do good at this, or I really want to do better at this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I want to figure this out. I want to break the code in life to this or whatever it is. And we intend to do it someday. And without a big enough why. Now, why do people often lose weight, change their style, change their way of being after a breakup? People make the biggest changes in their lives after someone breaks up with them. Why? Number one, usually because they didn't realize that they were messed up, to be honest, or needed some changes that might be advantageous to them. And the second thing is that we get an opportunity. We wake up, we get an opportunity to evaluate ourselves, and then we get to make an intention as to how we want to be. So I want you to consider the intentions in your life, the things that you truly intend to do, and to be careful of using the word intention as a watered down goal. I intend to do that. I intend to do that. No, I intend to do that. There's a big difference. And it all has to do with how you communicate to yourself. People who struggle with communication problems and who have worked to make them better and to communicate better realize that in most cases, the communication issue is with yourself. When you begin to communicate differently with yourself about intentions, you begin to find new and better ways to accomplish and do the things that you want to do. Brendan Burchard put it really, really well. Brendan says that whenever somebody comes up to him and says, I'd like to do X, and I've tried everything, it's impossible. I've tried everything. And Brendan always says, great, let me see your list. The person goes, what do you mean my list? He says, the list where you tried everything. If you've tried everything, you must have kept a list. Well, most people, of course, there's no list. So if you have something that it is you want to do, I want you to take a moment to realize you're a human being. And human beings have figured out how to overcome everything that they have seriously set their minds to. Let me put that caveat there. World peace? Hell no. And the reason is because, as Einstein said, you can't simultaneously pray for peace and plan for war. Our prayers are for war constantly. Once we have set a true intention, once we say we have intended to do this, there is a way to do this. Human beings can figure anything and everything out. So let me ask you a question, or let me tell you a quick story. We use a software program called Infusionsoft. We use another one called Kajabi. We use another one called Zapier. We use, Salesforce, Yesware. We've got all of these programs that we use. And every time, ClickFunnels, every time I open one up, the first time I'm like, it's impossible. It can't be done. It's so unusual. It's so atypical. And yet, by moving forward a little bit at a time, because my intention is always to master it. My intention is to use this tool, then over time, I'm able to master it. So you've got it easier today than anyone who ever lived. If you've got something you intend to do, it is easier today than ever. You've got the internet, you've got YouTube, you've got Facebook. There are obscure and wonderful Facebook groups everywhere, which will help you with anything. Generally, because people just simply want to help each other, number one. And because, as they've discovered in AA and Weight Watchers, when you help someone else, it makes you more mindful of your own program. One of the things, it's kind of surprising with this ClickFunnels, which is the program that I'm working to master right now. And there's a ClickFunnels Facebook group. And if I run into an issue, I can post on there and say, hey, I'm struggling with this particular issue. And people always jump in and somebody will say either me too, or I had that problem or you know what, I've never tried that. Anybody got any ideas, et cetera, et cetera. And then there are the people who pop in and say, I want to hire somebody to write my ad copy, come up with my program, and I want somebody to set up my ClickFunnels account. There's absolutely nothing wrong with either of those. If you want to truly master something, it takes time. Now, there's an old saying, if you can write a check for a problem, you don't have that problem. So if you can write a check to have somebody do all this for you, then that's great. You don't have that problem. But obviously you or someone else has contributed at a high level already to make that happen. Otherwise, set your intention and get into it. I ran into something yesterday. There's something, I wanted to hide a headline. And it's a little bit of custom coding, which I don't know custom coding, but I'm watching this video and I'm literally like watching 3 seconds, trying it. Didn't work. Back it up 3 seconds. Watch it again. 3 seconds, 3 seconds, 3 seconds. And I realized that there's an enormous amount of pride in that struggle and in overcoming it. So don't push your intentions aside. Your intentions are there to try and call out a feeling of accomplishment and to know that every noble gesture, Earl Nightingale said this, but he was quoting someone else. I think it's Emerson. Every noble gesture is at first and for a time impossible. So whatever your intentions are, dust them off and move in the direction of that. Whatever you do, don't make excuses. Don't say you've tried everything. You haven't. There's something out there waiting for you. I realized the other day that I was struggling with a particular issue. And I went and did some research, and this is something that I've worked on for many, many, many years. And they really didn't even know how to fix this thing until 20 years ago. So sometimes you just have to wait for the technology to catch up. I've had this thing, and then finally the technology caught up with this thing I wanted to do. So sometimes you just hold on to your intention. And if you hold on to your intention, it's a powerful thing, believing it in your mind. So don't use intention as watered down hope or try. Use intention as something you absolutely intend to do and then work in that direction. All right. Everybody click share if you would. Please click share. We will let the world know that power of intentions. Paula Drake says, good morning. Grateful for a warm day. Glad to see that. Good morning from South Carolina, says Michelle. Who's going to be the first to share, by the way? Grateful for this great book I am reading for the second time. Happy this year. Thank you so much. I'm glad you like my book. I think it's a great book too. It was fun to write. It really was. As much as any book is fun to write. I say that because, boy, talk about an intention. They pay you in advance to write a book. That's why it's called an advance. But you've now got a contract and you got to turn in chapters and you got to turn in pages. And as Hemingway says, all writing is rewriting. So you write, rewrite, 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 rewrite. Jennifer says, good morning, all. I'm grateful for happy hours with friends. I noticed something yesterday I actually listened back to something I recorded yesterday. And I have this terrible habit of using and so as filler words. And is my big one. And Willow says, share. Thank you, Willow. That is awesome. Grateful for having you all here. You know, we had a bit of a light turnout this morning, and I think it was partly because of the description. And I realized that I'm still going to do it tomorrow because I think this idea of moving with grace through our lives, I think it's very powerful, and it's something that we can cultivate. So be sure and join me tomorrow as we talk about that. Thanks, everybody, for being with me. Make it a great day. Do click share before you go so we can invite others to join our positive community.
No more complaining people. Their lives are changing. We're flying high, creating a complaint-free world. No more complaining people. Their lives are changing. We're flying high, creating a complaint